One thing that's never changed with sports fans is the debate about the GOAT. Who's the greatest of all time? So it's rare that I get a chance to sit down with one of the guys who's debated about to talk about the conversation of that term.
Michael Jordan has spoken, and when the greatest to ever do it decides to open his mouth about the GOAT conversation, you stop whatever you are doing and you listen. This was not some random podcast appearance or a quick sideline comment. This was a full sit-down NBC interview recorded at Jordan's own home, conducted by Mike Tirico, a wide-ranging conversation that NBC has been carefully releasing in segments throughout the year. And the portion that dropped recently? It set the entire basketball internet on fire. Because for the first time in a long time, we got Michael Jordan on camera talking directly about the one topic every fan, every analyst, and every sports show on the planet refuses to let die. Who is the greatest basketball player of all time? And the way Jordan handled it told you everything you need to know about the difference between a man who actually is the greatest and a man who simply cannot stop telling everyone that he is. Jordan sat there, composed, almost amused when Mike Tirico brought up the GOAT debate. There was a scoff, a slight smile. The kind of reaction you get from someone who finds the entire conversation beneath them. Not because they are insecure, but because they already know the answer and they have known it for 30 years. Jordan did not thump his chest. He did not point to his rings. He simply said what he has always said, that comparing players across different generations is something he refuses to do, because the game evolves, the eras are different, and the players who came before deserve to be honored rather than pushed aside so that someone newer can claim a throne that was never theirs to take. Think about what Jordan is actually saying here.
Tries to elevate one generation above the other.
Right.
I think it creates animosity. I have no animosity against today's players, but you do have certain players that do have animosity because of the forgottenness of what, right? You know, and to me, it's the beauty of the game of basketball that a player after a previous player has evolved the game further. But don't then, in essence, this is the way I look at it, you know, don't then now use that against the player.
This is a man who hit the most iconic shot in finals history in 1998. Hand frozen in the air over Byron Russell, three-peat complete. Legacy sealed. 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs. A perfect record on the biggest stage the sport has to offer. And even after all of that, he still refused to call himself the greatest of all time because Bill Russell won 11 championships. Because Wilt Chamberlain dominated in ways that cannot be directly measured against the modern game. Because Oscar Robertson and Jerry West were forces that Jordan himself learned from even though he never shared a court with them. That level of respect for the history of the game is rare. It is almost extinct in today's NBA. And it stands in the sharpest possible contrast to what we have been watching from one particular player for the better part of the last decade. Jordan also made something else crystal clear during this interview.
That's why I have a tough time. And, you know, look, I would love to have played against LeBron and, you know, Kobe in my prime. You know, I would love to have played, you know, against those guys. But we'll never be able to know that. Part of the marketing, part of the hype, part of the things that tries to elevate one generation above the other.
Right.
And it is a point that a certain section of the media has been quietly trying to erase for years. Every single time Jordan mentioned LeBron James, he mentioned Kobe Bryant in the exact same breath. LeBron and Kobe. Kobe and LeBron. Together. Every time. Not once did Jordan place LeBron above Kobe or treat them as anything other than equals in that conversation below him. And that matters more than people are giving it credit for. Because the players who actually competed against Kobe Bryant, the ones who guarded him in playoff series, who felt what it was like to try and contain him in a Game 7, virtually every single one of them puts Kobe in the top 2 or 3 players who ever lived. The peers are unanimous on this. And yet somehow in 2026, the mainstream media has decided that even putting Kobe and LeBron in the same sentence is an outdated take. Jordan clearly did not get that memo. And frankly, neither did anyone who actually played the game at the highest level during that era. But here is where Jordan's words cut the absolute deepest. He was not just talking about statistics or ring counts or highlight reels. He was talking about something far more important. The way the GOAT conversation itself has been corrupted. Jordan's argument is that the media machine deliberately manufactures these generational debates because conflict drives clicks and clicks drive revenue. He acknowledged that openly. He understands exactly how the business works. But his real frustration goes deeper than the media. His frustration is with what this constant manufactured debate does to the legends who came before. When every broadcast is built around convincing the audience that the current star is the greatest of all time, you are silently erasing the men who built the entire foundation. You are pushing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar into a corner. You are telling Bill Russell, a man with 11 championship rings, that history no longer has room for him. You are treating Wilt Chamberlain like a footnote in a story he helped write, and Jordan made it clear that this is where he gets genuinely lost. That disrespect for previous generations is something he has never been able to accept. Now let us talk about the part of this conversation that nobody wants to say out loud, but everybody is already thinking. Jordan never mentioned LeBron by name with any hostility. He was too composed for that, too measured, too classy. But the target of his frustration was not difficult to identify. Because for 10 straight years, a full decade, one player in this league has made it his personal mission to tell the world that he is the greatest of all time. Not once, not occasionally, relentlessly. This player shows up to his own events with live goats as props. He had his own wife stand on a stage at the ESPY Awards and introduce him publicly as the GOAT. He told his son Bronny that at the workplace, Dad is not an option. The acceptable titles are 23, King, or GOAT. And if that was not enough, even during a casual backyard game of horse with his younger son Bryce, the self-promotion was still running at full volume. The man has been doing this for 10 years and he simply cannot stop. And while all of that was happening, Michael Jordan, 6 rings, 6 finals MVPs, never lost a final series in his entire career, said absolutely nothing. Not when he was in his prime, not when he retired the first time, not when he came back, not in the years that followed. He let his record speak. He let the legacy speak. He honored the players that came before him instead of stepping on their contributions to elevate himself. That contrast is not a small thing. It is everything. It is the entire argument in one picture. On one side, you have a man so secure in his greatness that he never needed to announce it to anyone. On the other side, you have a man who has spent 10 years announcing it to everyone and still cannot seem to make it stick the way he needs it to. Jordan's humility was never weakness. It was the quiet confidence of someone who already knew exactly where he stood and had no need for anyone else's validation to confirm it. The truth about greatness has not changed, and it never will. If you are truly the best at something, the work makes the case for you. The championships carry the argument. The record closes the debate. Jordan let all of those things do exactly that for 30 years, and they have done the job perfectly, clearly, without a single boast, without a single crown gesture, without a single live GOAT at a party. The real GOAT never needs to tell you he is the GOAT. Michael Jordan just reminded the entire world of that, one more time, without even raising his voice. What makes this NBC interview so significant is not just what Jordan said. It is the timing of when he said it. This conversation was recorded months ago, and NBC has been strategically releasing pieces of it throughout the season. That means every few weeks, a new segment drops, a new comment surfaces, and the basketball world gets pulled back into the same gravitational center. And every single time that happens, the debate lands in the same place. Not on statistics, not on longevity, not on box scores or advanced metrics. It lands on legacy, on character, on what kind of player you were when nobody was asking you to perform. Jordan built his legacy in silence and let the game do the talking. That approach produced 6 championships, a cultural footprint that still covers the entire sport in 2026, and a reputation so airtight that even the man himself refuses to claim the title it earned him. That is the standard. That has always been the standard. And no amount of self-promotion, no live animal props, and no decade-long campaign of personal branding will ever move that standard from where it has been standing for 30 years.